All right, rock and roll. Here we go. We're live. Okay, for arithmetic sequences, the difference between each term is a constant. So if I take term 2, subtract term 1, or term 3, subtract term 2, term 4, subtract term 3, and so on, if I get a constant, you're dealing with an arithmetic sequence. Most people look at this and I say, like, what's the pattern with those numbers? When I asked that a minute ago, you folks said you're adding 3 each time. And that's true. But to figure out what that common difference is, you have to subtract. Difference is the answer you get when you subtract. And it has to be constant between every term. First term is called A, sometimes call that T1. In this case, A would be 2. Second term is called T2. Third term is called T3. 10th term would be T10, and so on. The last term, or the indicated term, so if there's a period after this, the last term could be 17. The position of a term, or the number of terms, is called n. If I scroll down, you'll see how I found the common difference. Took term 2, 5, subtracted term 1, 2, got 3. Now, here is the formula that all of these arithmetic sequences go by. It says to find any given term in an arithmetic sequence, we use the following formula. Tn equals A, the first term, plus n minus 1, the number of terms, subtract 1, times the common difference. It says find the indicated term of the following sequence. Now, we've got 1, 4, 7, and then it goes on. First of all, is this arithmetic? Yes or no? Yes. How do you know? It's going up by 3 each time. The common difference, if you were to find it, would be term 2 minus term 1, or 4 minus 1 would equal what? 3. Do I get a 3 if I take term 3 and subtract term 2? 7 minus 4? Yes, it's a constant. So we can assume that it's a constant the whole way. What is the first term? A is 1. Now, they want me to find the 7th term. The easiest way to find the 7th term for this would probably just be to go 1, 4, 7. What's next? 10, 13, 16, 19. So what's the 7th term? 19. Question's over. Okay? What's the problem, though, when they ask for the 50th term? You got to write down 50 numbers. Okay? Which is a pain. I don't want to do that. What I can do is I can use this formula. Tn is equal to A plus n minus 1 times the common difference. If I want to find term 50, what are they telling me to replace the n with? 50. What's A? That was given above. In brackets, I'm going to write 50 minus 1. Does everyone understand why I'm replacing the n with a 50? If that n became a 50, this n becomes a 50. And what is the common difference? 3. The 50th term is going to be 1 plus 49 times 3. Anyone know what 49 times 3 is? Good job. What's 1 plus 147? 148. Now, I would argue that I could do that formula quicker than I could writing 50 terms in. Agreed? The 50th term is 148. Just know that if I did the same thing over here, if I use the formula with this one, I should still get 19 for an answer. So T 7 in this case, because that's what they asked me to find, is going to equal 1 plus 7 minus 1 times 3. And when I sort this out, I end up with T7 equals 1 plus 6 times 3. Brackets first, then I multiply. 6 times 3. Then I add 1 plus 18. And I get 19. Is the answer different? No. Okay? So this formula is what we're going to use to answer questions about an arithmetic sequence. They could ask you to find an indicated term, so like a specific term, the 7th or the 50th or the 100th term. The bigger the term, the better the equation is. If they just want term 4, I'm just going to rip it out, keep adding 3 until I get 4 terms listed. Fair? Awesome. Here's another type of question. You don't have this one. Okay? Example 2. Could you copy it down? It says how many terms are in the following sequences? We want to solve for n. So they're telling us what to do. Don't forget the formula. The formula says Tn equals a plus n minus 1 times d. Sometimes you'll see that a replaced with a t1, first term. Sometimes you'll see tn, some textbooks use I, and this would be an I. Now, first of all, is this arithmetic? What am I adding each time? Or what's the difference? 3 minus 1, 5 minus 3, 2. So it does have a common difference. You don't have to write down d equals 3 minus 1, d equals 2, or d equals 5 minus 3, d equals... You can check that. Okay? But I do know now that d equals 2. What's a? 1, the first term. What else do they give me here? The last term, John Boy. What is the last term? And what do we replace with a 71? Tn. And if you're not sure why, let's go back to the notes. The last term, Tn. Cool? So do you see how they went 1, 3, 5, dot, 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 all the way up to 71. So in this case, Tn equals 71. So when I fill this in, what am I going to replace that with? 71 equals. What's the a going to get replaced with? I'm trying to solve for n. I don't know what that is. And I do know the common difference is 2. Suggestions. How am I going to solve from here? Like, what do I want to solve for? I want to get the n by itself. There's options. Multiply the bracket out. Cool. If you multiply n by 2, you get 2n, and negative 1 by 2, you get negative 2. Great job. 71 equals. Group your like terms.
Excuse me, interruption. Could the following students please come to the office? Newell Sadie, Toby Armstrong, Sebastian Bote, Michael Bedell, Dominic Holzer, Ethan Daybright, Curtis Dignam, Gavin Fowler, Ryan Gomez-Brito, Michael Hefford, Kodai Hinoki, Austin Hutcher, Sierra McIntosh, Adam McCory, Mateo Embo, Tori McDonald, Sam McIntyre, Matthew McLean, Sam McNeil, Adam Nicholson, Teddy Alwadair, Noah Terrio, Emma Von Helms, Olivia Watkins, Nicole Wetmore, and Anna Whitty. Thank you.
There you go. 2n minus 1. Is everyone okay with that? Back up here, please. 1 minus 2, negative 1. Then what? We're going to add 1 to both sides, or move the negative 1 over. 71 and 1 would give me. Then what? Divide by 2. And we get 36 equal to n. What does that mean? 36 terms. 71 is the 36th term in this arithmetic sequence. We cool with that? Next up, we've got a sequence that says x, x plus 3, x plus 6, x plus 33. Does anyone know what the common difference is? It's 3. I'm just adding 3 each time. Like, if I did this, if I went term 2, x plus 3, minus term 1, I'd get a 3. If I did term 3, x plus 6, and I subtract term 2, x plus 3, I would distribute this negative over both terms. Group my like terms, and what do I get? 3 again. So it does have a common difference of 3. What's the a value? So if I go to fill this in my formula and solve for n, I want to know the number of terms. I have a, I have the common difference. I'm looking for n. Means I need this thing. What is Tn? What's the last term in this one? X plus 33. Cool? X plus 33 fits there. X goes here. And this is going to say n minus 1 times, anyone? 3. Now, could have done this in the last one as well, but is it okay for me to move this over right now? When I asked what would you do here, Carly told me she'd multiply through the brackets. We could have actually subtracted 1 from both sides as well. Answer's going to still work out to be the same in the end, 36. If I move this over, I'm going to get x plus 33 minus x. What would that leave on the left-hand side? 33. And over here, I've got n minus 1 times 3. Now, I could multiply through the brackets. What else could I do? Divide by 3. Nice. That gets rid of this. Whatever you do to the right, you do to the left. I've got 11 equal to n minus 1. And then what would I do? Move the 1 over or add 1 to both sides. How many terms are there? There are 12 terms. That's another way to solve that. Okay? Maybe a little quicker. Is it wrong to do it like we did up here? Absolutely no. Any issues with solving for n? All right. This one says find a, d, and tn for the following sequence. Now, in this case, when they're asking for tn, this is when they're going to want the general term. So you can copy this example down as well. Here's what I know, and this is helpful. I don't know term 1. I don't know term 2. I don't know term 3 or 4. I do know the 5th term. What is it? 16. Don't know 6 or 7, but I do know 8. What's the eighth term? 25. Now, some people are pretty good at just kind of working their way through this. Okay, there's other options. I'm going to show you a way to do it that you don't have to do like trial and error, guess and test, that kind of thing. Okay? What we can do is we can turn these into two equations. All right, remember the formula. It says Tn equals A plus n minus 1 times D. All I really know is that n is 5, and I know that the fifth term is 16. So for this guy, we'll call this equation 1. I can say that T5 equals A plus 5 minus 1 times D. Or the fifth term equals A plus 4D. Are you with me on that? Yes? By the same logic then, term 8 should equal A plus what? 8 minus 1 times D. That's a common mistake. People say 25 minus 1. I'll show you in a minute what I'm going to do with that 25 and what I'm going to do with the 16, because they do have a part to play. But it's the eighth term, the nth term, n is 5, eighth term, n is 8. So it would say T8 equals A plus 7D. Now, what can I replace the T5 with? That's right, term 5 is equal to 16. So now I can say that A plus 4D equals 16. Right? Most people would probably write it like this. And now I can also say that A plus 7D is equal to what? What can I replace the T8 with? A 25. A plus 7D equals 25. I have two equations with how many unknowns? 2. It's a 2-by-2 system of equations, which you solved in grade 10 and probably in grade 11. And anyone know how to solve them? You do substitution, you can do elimination. Okay? In this case, it's easy to set up an elimination. I'm going to take equation 2, A plus 7D equals 25, and I'm going to subtract equation 1. It wouldn't matter what order I put these in either. I could do equation 1 minus equation 2. Why did I go this way? Because I end up with positives. That's right. But if you subtract, if you go A minus A, what's 1A minus 1A? 0A, that's right. That's why it's called the elimination method. What about 7D minus 4D? How many D's would you have left? That's right. Think of this as being like in a bracket. You're distributing that negative over all three of them. 7D minus 4D would be 3D. Write your equal sign. What's 25 minus 16? 9. Some good math there, John Boy. That's on video too. Oh, the world will know. The world's gonna know. No, no one's gonna know because no one's gonna watch this ever. All right, how could you solve for D? Divide by 3. Shot at redemption, John Boy. What's 3D divided by 3? Oh man, this is rough. It's D, folks. Should we try it again? 9 divided by 3. We got that one? What is it? Attaboy. So the common difference is 3. Okay, that's great to know, because now that I know the common difference, I can actually solve for the other unknown. What is the other unknown? A. I can take this 3 and go back to, it doesn't matter if I go to equation 1 or equation 2. Let's go with equation 1. What am I going to replace that D width right there with a 3. So it's going to say 7 times 3, which is what? And what would I do to get A by itself? How do I get rid of a plus 21? Move it over or subtract 21 from both sides. But what do you get? John's done. He's tapped out for Monday. A equals 4. We good? Is that all right with everyone? So let's think about that. Let's see if this works. If A is 4, where does that go in these blanks? At the very first. A represents T1, the first term. Does that mean the second term's a 3? Why is the second term a 7? The common difference is 3, means you're adding 3 to each term. So what's this going to be? What's this going to be? What's this? 16, it holds. What's this? This? $22. That's right, I think so. 19 plus 3 is 22. That's right. 9 and 3, 2, carry the 1. So, yeah, 1 and 1, 2. 22. Works good. 25. Is that all right? Some people do this. They'll go like 25 minus 16 is 9, and there's 1, 2, 3 spots between them. Okay, 9 divided by 3 gets their common difference that way. But some people don't, like, they forget about there's 1, 2, 3. They just look at these and maybe they go 9 divided by 2 and they get 4.5. Gets jammed up. This will work. Okay, I found A, check. I found D, check. I did not find the general term. The general term for this sequence. Okay, here's how we find the general term. We're just going to take our formula, which says Tn equals A plus n minus 1 in a bracket times D. And I'm only going to fill in A and D. What was A? 4 plus n minus 1. What was the common difference? 3. For the general term, I'm going to leave Tn, or I'll leave n as n. And then I'm just going to work this out. 4 plus 3n minus 3. Do you understand how I got that? I multiplied. And then I'm going to group my like terms. Tn is going to equal 3n plus 1. 4 minus 3 is 1. That is my general term. That is the formula that I could use to find any term in this sequence. If you don't believe me, we could try it. Like if we look up here, what's the fourth term? 13. So that means if I replace n with a 4, I should get 13 for an answer. 3 times 4 is 12 plus 1, 13. If I replace n with a 5, 3 times 5 is 15 plus 1, 16. That means my fifth term, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 16. Okay? If I wanted the 20th term, 3 times 20 is 60 plus 1, 61. It would be 61. Cool? Those are the questions you can try on the sheet.